Alrighty then. It's working. How's it going, guys? Angus here from Maker's Muse. Welcome back to another live video on Maker's Muse Live, pimping our printer. Now, two things. One, same audio. I know. Bear with it. I am looking to get better mics so you can get less echo. And I do have a printer running, which is the Cocoon Create Plus, the latest one, and it's very loud. So it's on the floor right now, and hopefully it won't disrupt the stream too much. But we've got Ignore My Chan, Andrew, Jean-Francois, Mickey Man Mike, 3DP Iceland, Eddie Moser, welcome Eddie, always welcome all of you. Astronaut, Josiah, Patrick, 3DP Iceland, 3D Gusner, Print and Play, thank you so much for joining me. And You Do It, who was the first in the chat. So I apologize profusely for last week. A lot of things suddenly came up and I had to go back to Sydney and there was no time to stream, basically. So I had to can it. I don't like doing that, so thank you for being patient. I've got my drink, and we've got the guinea pig for this whole video series, which is the, if you're not familiar with it, the original Cocoon Create 3D printer that was sold here in Australia in Aldi. This is also sold as the Balco on Kogan, and it's also known as the Monoprice Maker Select, or the Wanhao i3 version 2. It's hugely popular. There's hundreds of these all around the world. Hair is on point. Dude, it doesn't behave. It just won't. It just does it. I can't contain it. This is what happens when you have a late night shower. It's just always the case. Mac the Maker saying, I just gave my Wanhao i3 away, could never get it to print right, had zero time to mess with it. That's a real shame. The original Wanhao i3, like before this one, had a flat front on the control panel. That was pretty terrible. I have one of those, it's right down the corner there. They just hadn't got it right. But this one is far improved, actually. I've gotten lots of good prints off this, even before I started upgrading it. Can't handle the chat. Got Shane, awesome. Printed Play, I heard printers print counterclockwise in Australia. They print counterclockwise, upside down, back to front, whatever you like. So the aim of today, well, I was planning to upgrade the linear bearing holders for the X-axis, and I printed these ones out from Thingiverse. Also, you notice I have a little side camera now, so you can maybe see things if I can see it. Maybe. Let's see. Hey, there we go. Side camera. So these are designed to avoid the belt rubbing issue here, where the belts do touch the linear bearing holders. But these are tapped with M4 screws, I believe, and these are plastic. So I would need longer M4 screws, and I do not have any. So yeah. I'm not sure how these were meant to be used. I might need to go back to the drawing board with that one. But what I do have is these pressed fiberboard replacement beds, and I do have my IGUS dryland bearings, which are these. So I think the plan will be to focus on the bed today, and then we'll see how we go with the pillow blocks for the linear bearings. Has anyone else had a problem with notifications? I had no idea Angus was streaming. Dude, notifications are broken completely. And I think YouTube does it on purpose. So when I release videos on Maker's Muse, people get notifications like throughout the week. It's like, don't you want to know about the video now? I think it's done on purpose, to be honest. So that's all well and good if it's just a static video that you upload, but if it's a stream, it's not so good. I didn't want to cut those rods down. I haven't been here. I literally have not been here. It's all set up from when I had to run away. I have not had time. I'll get to that at some point. I've been doing some test prints as well because I want to see a before and after comparison. So let me just grab those here. Obviously the tolerance gauge test. So I did a few different versions. The first one's had a bit of an infill issue, and I was printing with a 0.5mm nozzle on the Flexion, but they all work. It all moves. So that's pretty impressive. changed it to a 0.4, and again, that seems to be pretty good. Even with the stiffening rods though, there's still a little bit of layer inaccuracy, and I'm not sure how easy you can see it, but I'll just change to the other camera, and I don't know if you can see that easily or not. But it still does have a bit of an issue, and that might be these threaded rods. It's been traveled, moved a lot. They might be a bit wobbly, so that isn't as accurate as I'd like, but not a big deal. And then I did a ghosting test. Where is my ghosting test? It's on the floor. Here we go. So this is like a ghosting test, which I'm going to do a video on. But the idea is to show if the printer vibrates during printing. And it actually did a pretty good job with this one. But again, that layer inaccuracy, it just doesn't like it very much. This camera is not very good. I do apologize. It's really hard to see. But suffice to say, the layer accuracy could be better. Jonathan Francois, thank you so much. $6, really enjoying the series. Cheers, I appreciate it. It's a little bit chaotic, but it is quite a lot of fun. Also did a Maker's Muse lattice test. This one was the point with the 0.5 nozzle, and it actually worked pretty well, but cooling is clearly an issue with this one. But then I just had all these issues with printing another one. Like, it just couldn't do it. Just kept hitting the, oh, there it goes. It just basically kept hitting the rod. So I got one successful one, and then it kept failing. So that might have been the filament, but also I think it's just the cooling of this machine isn't that great. So I have to sign into chat, although I am signed into my own channel. That makes no sense at all. Yeah, sorry. It's like one of those GoPro clones, so the angle is like blah. I'm right on the edge of the angle, right on the edge of the lens. Do I have IGUS rods? They may wear out quite fast as steel rods. No, I don't yet. That's a very good point 3D Gustner's making. With the IGUS dryland bearings, you really need their special aluminium rods. I'm going to try to order some, but I just haven't had time. I won't even have time till end of March. But we'll fit them, and the rods are easy to change. Anyway. Okay, so SideCam has a delay, or did I notice already? Yep, I did notice already. It's a piece of crap. Welcome to my streams, where all the technology is the best I can afford. Okay, so I'm going to start tearing down this print bed. First of all, making sure the printer is off and the cable is unplugged. So we're going to replace the main reason of doing this is that aluminium plate at the bottom. And over time, because there's 4 springs on the corners, it starts to bow and it vibrates. It's not very rigid. It's just not very good. So I'm just going to undo these screws. There you go. You can see me doing it. Yeah, people coming in late with the YouTube notifications, I'm so sorry. YouTube can suck it. Not really, I'm just getting started. I've just been talking. We're upgrading the print surface. Oh my god, what was that? Eddie, thank you so much, dude. Because you clearly need a sandwich. Yeah, the angle here with this camera is pretty terrible. Let's crack this open. Sorry, I can't see the chat while I'm doing this. I've got IGUS bearings and they bind on the rails. Right, okay, well maybe I won't change them till I get the right rods. Because the proper rods for the IGUS bearings are... change back there. Proper rods for the IGUS bearings are like aluminium with like a rough ceramic coating. So, yeah. They're designed to take a bit of the material away from the dryland bearing and then sort of use that as a contact surface, not be operating on metal. Okay. Also, guys, if you haven't seen these before, these are like little sort of thumb screws, like that. I got these when I was in Shenzhen, China, and normally this machine came with wing nuts, so M3 wing nuts, and that was just a pain in the ass. So I already upgraded a few things on this, but yeah, the wing nuts were just terrible. Am I going to be at the Midwest Rep Rap Festival? No, dude, I'm not. I'm not going overseas for some time. Mostly because it's so disruptive to what I do. It's just Australia's so far away from everywhere. It's a long distance. I would struggle to keep the cash flowing if I travelled. Okay. So we've got our springs. Springs on the bed. Interesting fun fact, the Prusa Mark III and the Mark II don't have a spring-loaded bed. It is just bolted down because it has mesh bed leveling. Whereas these older i3s and pretty much every other i3 in the market has spring-loaded bed, which does induce a bit of inaccuracy and vibration because you're basically riding on suspension. That GoPro clone would be a great hotbed cam. Maybe it's a bit heavy actually. I think on GearBest you can get some smaller cameras that work as webcams, and I think something lighter would be better for an i3 like this where the bed moves, because you don't want to add any more mass. Just going back to that, it's on suspension, so if you add more mass, you're going to induce more ghosting or ringing to your artifacts, to your prints. Okay, maybe guys, I'll leave the IGUS bearings out for now, and then wait till I get the proper rods. I might need to take advantage of one of you dudes in America to get me some proper IGUS rods from McMaster Car. We'll see what we need to do. But again, it won't be till end of March. Right, so we've got this removed and we have our print surface. Okay, so if I just go back here, it looked like I was lagging there for a bit. I do apologize if I am. There you go. So this is the traditional i3 heat bed. How many of you guys know this? That the thermistor is taped with Kapton tape to the bottom of it. Do you know what happens if this releases, if it just comes away? It will just keep heating and not realize that this is no longer in contact. This is like one of the biggest flaws of this design of heat bed I've ever seen, and it's been improved on many machines, but this is super sketch. You can get away with it. I don't print in high temperatures, but for most... where was that? Oh my god, CNC Millworks, 25 bucks. Thank you so much. That's awesome. But yeah, like, it's super sketch. And I don't want to think of what would happen if that failed and you had thermal runaway on your heat bed. Yeah. Anyway. So I'm just going to put this over to the side. It is connected by a mess of wires. You can't really disconnect it. It's soldered into place, which is a big problem with the Wanhaos. And we have our print surface. Sorry, our bed underneath the print surface. And it has 3 linear bearing blocks. So we're going to undo this and take this plate off. And we'll be replacing it with this one, which is far lighter and stiffer. So this is a compressed fiberboard type material. IGUS also work on carbon fiber rods. That's interesting. That makes sense because the carbon fiber is abrasive. Interesting. Okay. Thanks for the tips, guys. Noah is asking, I guess I'm building a 300 by 300 by 300, well, 300 whatever, Core XY printer. How do you suggest I deal with the heat bed type? Yeah, that's tricky at that size. I don't know, guys. You might have some suggestions for Noah in the chat. I don't know of any reliable heat bed that size that you can buy on its own. I only know of printers that have heat beds of that size. And Rowan just got a Cetus 3D yesterday. Congrats. Okay, let's grab this. Do the thing. So these are those M4 screws I was talking about. Which is why I can't use that plastic bearing holder quite yet. Also going back to the large Core X wide printer, if you're printing in PLA, you don't actually need a heated bed. Just a heads up. I'm printing a print in ABS right now, the Cocoon Create Plus, and it's failed basically. It's delaminated despite it being completely covered up and in a sort of enclosed chamber, which is a bit of a shame. Hey Ron, thanks for joining. So if you just joined me guys, we are pimping this printer. We are upgrading it slowly, part by part. This is the Makers Muse live channel. Everything's kind of more casual. And this is my chance to catch up with you guys, talk to you, interact. And this is stuff I've been doing anyway in my spare time. So I figured it's just a good fun way to do it with you live. Why not? So it'll be interesting to see if this plate's actually bowed. I'm not sure if it is. Hey Chris, thanks for the subscription. Definitely getting a little bit of lag there. I don't know if it's me or what's going on. We're not receiving data at a fast enough rate. The health is good. Let me just bump my kilobytes up a little bit. It doesn't seem to be dealing well with the bit rate output. Okay. Alright. Let's see if it works a little bit better. I've been just noticing some lag. Yeah, the new logo is causing lag. Hopefully that's a bit better. I just added some kilobytes. Some kilobits. Alright, so we got the bed off those surfaces. Now we need to just remove the little metal belt holder. Pantelico, is there a way to run a 2 hot beds side by side on a custom cubic printer? Yeah, sure, why not? You can have more than one hot bed. It's a little bit messy though, because you need to determine where you measure your thermistor from. You'd probably connect them up parallel, I guess, not series. And yeah, that's possible, but I don't know, you'd end up with a rectangular print surface. So this is our aluminium plate. Oh wow, yeah, it is bowed. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that at all. Let's have a look. Can you see the top there? Alright, just line it up. Line it up. Everything's opposite. There you go. Anyway, it is definitely bent. So those springs over time have been just pulling or pushing. Pulling or pushing? Pushing, yeah, pushing down on that plate. Moving out of the way. CPU or internet connections being overloaded. We have fiber to the premises at 100 megabit, and this has a dedicated GPU. I don't know why this would be lagging. Unless Windows is updating, which has happened before. Yeah, no, you're right. It is overloaded for some unknown reason. I guess it's the side camera. Maybe I'll just turn it off for now. Let's turn that one off. Yeah. I guess I can't run that camera while streaming. Yeah, okay. Sorry guys. That's just how it is. I do want a dedicated PC to do this, but I don't have one. Anyway, so we've got our plate off. Let's replace it. Let's grab the other one. Yeah, Morris or Scott. Yeah, Scott also said the aluminium plates also deflect with heat cycles. Very true. They do indeed. So this goes here. And we'll sit basically where the other ones left off. So the trick is to just put all the bolts back in. Better now. Yeah, it's that stupid webcam. That stupid Chinese GoPro. I mean, I've tried other GoPros and it's just caused the stream to completely freeze. So that one must have just been, it works, but it consumes heaps of something. Heaps of encoding. Uh-oh. I think we have our first issue. Not sure the belt holes line up. Or have I got this the wrong way around? No, I had it the wrong way around. That's totally fine. I was putting it that way. It should be that way. I do stuff like that when I'm streaming. Turn it 9 degrees. Thanks, guys. Oh, man. I am a wreck. I've been doing so much video content because I'm going to be out of the office, I suppose. So I've been doing so many videos trying to get them going so I'll have video content while I'm not here. I'm a mess. There we go. That's better. Okay. Sweet. No, with Matt, with the stream issues, so, I mean, I've been doing this for years, and essentially, it's a camera driver issue. One camera is easy, but more than one camera starts causing problems. The C920s don't like to work on the same USB bus, so I have a second C920, but it doesn't work with the other C920. They both just die. They both freeze. Alternatively, these Chinese GoPros have that huge lag you saw and also induce issues with the overloading. The best way to do it is to have a proper camera with an HDMI to USB conversion, and then you can do it like that. So all the professional streamers do that. The only problem with that is it's quite expensive. And the issues with the laptops is this only has 3 USB ports. Anyway, so ideally, yeah, I need to do a proper setup with some HDMI output cameras into like a special master HDMI to USB converter, but whatever. That's too much money. Ask Barnacles to send me a new GoPro. Nah, the GoPro won't really fix the issues either, I promise you. Not to mention the laptop power supply like overloads very easily. It's very low power. So too many cameras and it just stops working anyway, just purely because of the power draw. Unlikely there'll be a separate video on Maker's Muse about pimping this printer. Probably not. I've got way too many other videos I need to put out on that channel, on the main channel rather. So I might do like a recap, but not for a while. Alrighty, I'm liking this print surface. I'm liking it's nice and sexy and black. Threadripper build. I do need a new editing PC actually. This is more powerful than my current editing PC, which is pathetic. Has a GTX 960. Sorry, GTX 760 that I got as a hand-me-down, and very old Core i7 from 2008. I think it's a 2007 Core i7. I don't remember what model it is. 8 gigs of RAM because it's a micro ITX and I can't afford the RAM prices right now to change both sticks. So there's only two slots. And all the hard drive space is filled up. The glamours of being a YouTuber, right? Get a cheap desktop like you did with the $500 build. Yeah, the cheap desktops are great, but they're not great for doing anything with video encoding, I promise you. You can't cheap out on video encoding. It needs powerful hardware, unfortunately. Right. Randy's asking, have I had a chance to try the Anycubic Ultra Bass? I've seen a couple of bad reviews. Sounds like really cool stuff. Look, it's on the JG Aurora A5, and it works really good. It leaves an interesting surface, and I did damage it when I went too close to the surface. So over time, I can see it chipping and scraping away, but it does function really well. It just has a weird texture, which people may or may not like. Is the GPU market completely stuffed in Australia? Well, pretty much. Not as bad as in the States, apparently. But it's hard to get cheap GPUs. Hopefully that'll change soon. Now it's now the hype's kind of gone. Uh-oh, I'm missing one screw. Oh, there it is. Crisis averted. Get a hardware upgrade from Linus. I guess it's no secret that I really do like what Linus does on his channel. I kind of try to model my business approach to what he does, but his space is more suitable to the whole sponsored video scene, whereas what I do is more suitable to products. In general, 3D printing companies don't have money to pay you to sponsor. Usually they just want to give you a printer and then expect free marketing, which they'll get. It just might not be positive. But the space is not, there's not enough money. Whereas in obviously the PC market, GPUs and stuff, there's lots of money. You have to get sponsored by weird things like the Dollar Shave Club and stuff, which isn't anything to do with computers. All right, that's pretty sick. I'm pretty happy with that. Unlikely, your brother just asked you, do you ever get tired of watching those guys? I don't know. I don't really like watching myself, so I don't know how you'd feel. My printer printing in the background is in sync with yours. That must be pretty annoying. It's printing like a big sort of circle thing. I won't spoil it. Edgar got here late. That's cool. I'm installing a new bed to replace the old aluminium plate that's all bowed and crappy to give us more rigidity and a lighter bed surface. Y-axis, that's the one. Tunnel Bear. I wouldn't mind being sponsored by Tunnel Bear. It's probably a service I probably need now. Alright. And it's black. It's very sexy. Okay, so with this in place, make sure this is not twisted. Yeah, it's fine. Yep. So I'm not going to change the linear bearings to Drylin yet. I will see how this goes because I want to get the proper aluminium rods. Right, so we're going to put springs in place. This is always really fiddly, by the way, putting the springs back in. At least they provided washers. I mean, a lot of these machines just come with bare springs, dragging into the actual heat bed. Although it's worth noting that this one doesn't have isolation washers. They're not cloth washers, because this version of the Wanhao doesn't have that shorting issue that the i3 Plus had, so it doesn't need them. Doesn't contact the PCB area. Okay, so we got the screw, we got the washer, got the spring, got the washer. They're nice washers too, actually. They're quite thick. And we've got little thumb screw. I will say though, oh no, where'd it go? Dropped it. In an ideal world, you wouldn't want springs. You'd want the mesh bed leveling that the Prushas have. This is so fiddly. There you go. When I get the compressed fiber plate, one of my fans sent it to me. He had them on eBay for a while, but this was like last year, and I apologize if you're watching how long it took me to get to this. But I do appreciate it. If I find it, I just don't have time. If I can get like a link off him, I'll link it in the description of this video. They were on eBay for a while. He CNC'd them. What printer is this? This is the Wanhao i3 version 2, otherwise known in Australia as the Cocoon Create, because it was sold by Aldi. And this is actually an interesting milestone printer. It's special to me because it's the first printer that a company actually sent to me to check out. Before then, I'd tested machines and done reviews, but on machines that I either owned or I borrowed. Whereas the Cocoon Create, I reached out to Win Plus and I said, hey, I run a YouTube channel in Australia on 3D printing. Your machine's interesting. They're like, yeah, can we send you one to review? That was the first time I've ever reached out to someone, and I don't really do it often, to be honest. But yeah, that was like 2 years into the channel. Oh, unlikely. Get well soon. Ron, have I ever thought about pimping my CR10? Yeah, look, it prints fine, to be honest. There's a lot of change. A lot of things have changed since this version of printer. The CR10 has removable cables, for example. That's a big improvement. So, no, not really. I might do a maintenance video someone suggested on older printers. How to keep them running after years of faithful service. Oh, no. Alright, I'll find that. Definitely one of the more fiddly things you can do with a 2D printer. Definitely one of the more fiddly things. Where are you? There you go. Try a different approach. There we go. Now to recover the parts I dropped. Yeah, WinPlus is actually a really interesting company. They actually got a little bit upset when I said in the Aldi vlog video that they were just a rebrand. They've apparently put a lot of effort into the firmware, which is really nice. And having used the original i3 Plus versus the Cocoon Create version, which they sent me now, it is different. They have improved it, for sure. Okay, Let's do this last one. Last fiddly one. Last one's always the worst. Okay. I'm gonna have to come around the other side. There's no way I can reach that. Trying to do it from the other side so you can see, but I just cannot reach it. There we go. Ah! I stepped on a 3D print. It's worse than Lego. Oh god. Stepped on that! This stupid ghosting test almost killed me. Jesus. It's like just watching live while I just die and like fall over. Oh my god. 191 people watching, jeez. You must really like to watch me just tinker. That's awesome. Okay. Got it installed. That's actually really nice. So first impressions. I don't know, it's still a little bit flexy. But that's also the rod's bending. But it is lighter, so maybe it's better. My pillar drill is wonky. It's on foam, so that's probably why. It's like leaning in. Today I stepped on a benchy. That would have hurt. That would have really hurt. I've stepped on 3D prints before that have like collapsed and exploded, and you know how PLA is really sharp? I've stepped on prints before that have like turned into like bear traps and gone like on my foot. Like, oh dear, it's just painful. But there we go, we've got those installed, which is awesome. So I'm just going to remove this filament out of the way. So I'm just going to cut it here. There we go. Move this out of the way. Osloy. What mod did I just do? I just replaced the print surface, sorry, the print bed from the original aluminium plate to a lighter, more rigid fiberboard plate. So this one was bending over time. This one is underneath here. The black one looks sexy, and it should be a bit more stiff. Wear shoes? No chance. I'm Australian. We don't wear shoes. No chance. All right. What should I do next? Well, what we've got stiffening rods. We have the plate. What other stuff do I have? Let's have a look. I won't do the drylin bearings yet because you're right. I think I'll wait till I have the right rods. I guess we can change the extruder. What do you reckon? Should we upgrade our extruder? This is the Flexion HT with the silicon socks. So we should do that. Yeah, let's do that. I'll change the extruder and then I'll print off a part cooling fan, which is very true. I'll print off one of those for next time. And we can see if we can really start to kick that cooling issue in the butt, because it's definitely a big pain in the ass. Okay, people want to see that Flexion installed. Let's do it then. Alright. This will be a little bit challenging making it the right orientation for me to work on, but let's try. So hopefully you can still see that. Yeah, cool. Okay, that works. So the Flexion, the original Flexion is already attached here, but the HT is a bit different. It can cope with high temperatures, and it has the sock, which is what keeps the heat in. And I've noticed with this one, the cooling fan is not very good, and it actually blows air onto the heater block itself and actually causes the heater block to cool down. So let's go ahead and upgrade that. All right, so we're going to need some Allen keys. Practical printing, I don't think it has enough stickers. Yeah, this is the machine where I stick all the stickers I get from people on. Except for you guys who have stickers who are too big. You know who I'm talking about. If your sticker can't fit in this area, it doesn't go on, I'm sorry. Yeah, but we got Press Reset, we got Nerd, we got Filament Friday, that's Chuck. We got Protopasta, we have Evan Caitlin, and my own one. And Astroprint at the top. Apparently they're going to be sending me their new Astro box at some point. Is the firmware available for these printers? I don't think so. I don't think Wanhao released it. I might be wrong, but this is all just as it came. Yeah, alright. So let's get to work. So a bit of side story, or backstory. It took me, no, it's down here. It took me years to figure out how to disassemble extruders and hot ends. Because for my job, the printers would just keep breaking. This is back when we had the infamous MakerBot replicator. And that machine would jam and need replacement extruder parts all the time. Mostly the feeder gears, actually. Mostly they would jam up and you need to replace them. So I got quite good at doing this, actually. I got quite good at taking apart hot ends. This is the Mark 10 style, so it's all derivative of MakerBot, basically. And that early design. Back in the day when MakerBot was actually open source, yes, there was a time, and actually available to people. Right, so we have the fans here. They're not marked, but doesn't really matter. When you start printing, you can easily tell which one's the cooling fan and which one's the hot end fan. I'll just remove that. Did I see Joel make the box for the CR10? I did, and I saw people got triggered by the door. That was pretty funny, actually. I think him and Bill Duran have a really good chemistry. It's really funny to watch. Really, really entertaining and good. Okay. So, just take this off. So the thing I do like about the Wanhaos is it's all metal. This fan shroud, it's metal. It's folded sheet metal. I often wondered, like, if Wanhao in a previous life was just a sheet metal fabrication company, and then they decided to start making 3D printers. But it's, I mean, that's a terribly ineffective fan design. Like, what do you do? You're just going to blow some air out the bottom there? Just, what? Even if it does work, it's hugely directional. And it's just going to cool one part of the print, which is why you have, like, one corner of your print might look good, and the rest might look bad. Right. And we have our hot end cooling assembly. So this cools the heat break. So if you guys aren't familiar with extruder design, this aluminium part here, that's the heat break. And that stops the hot end creeping heat up into the actual motor and extrusion assembly. So the purpose of this fan is it takes heat from the heat break and then the fan blows air across it. It's different to the E3D style design, which has a circular heat sink, but it works fine. It does function. There's no problem there. I was really lazy and didn't preheat this, so oh well. I guess that just is what it is. And now taking those bolts out, it all basically just pops out. Unless you don't preheat it and leave filament in it like I do. So I'm just going to have to cut that. Do I cut it or just heat it up? I'm just going to heat it up. Because I can't be bothered just cutting it. Should have done it properly. Alright. Alright. Don't do what Angus does. I'm just going to heat this up to remove the filament, but I'm not doing anything else. The cooling fans are disconnected, which means if you just did this normally, you'd damage your hot end, kind of. But it doesn't matter. Should have removed it before the stream. My bad. Did I see the Stolen Moon 3D printing prank? No, I didn't actually. That sounds pretty cool. What got me into 3D printing to begin with? I like prototyping and I can't tangibly make anything with my hands very accurately. So 3D printing just cheats for me and makes objects more accurately than I possibly could. Edgar, any recommendations on fan shrouds to print out? My buddy Joe, 3D Maker Noob, did a whole like shootout between different fan designs for the ANET A8. And he quite liked the sort of ones that sort of reach around the hot end and they blow air from all directions, if I remember correctly. Alright, just going to heat it up just enough to get this filament out, because I'm super skilled at being organised. Pauline, do people normally reverse the filament at the end of the print? Nope. There's nothing wrong with just letting the filament cool in the hot end and walking away. There was a big sort of myth, especially among schools. A lot of schools think this, that you need to remove the filament at the end of each printing session. That's not really true. You don't have to do that at all. Right, I'm going to withdraw this. Come on. Yeah, and like that aluminium's already hot. So without that heat break fan, things start to get hot pretty quickly. There we go. And that'll do. And that's it. So lesson, don't just leave filament in and be lazy like Angus. Joe likes a reach around. Whoops. Yeah, the half circle cooling fans work the best for Joe. Can you use any old computer fans? Absolutely. The only thing you need to manage is voltage. So most computer fans will be 12 volts, and most 3D printers are 12 volts. Not all though. Like the new Prusa Mark III is 24, and if you put a 12 volt fan on 24 volts, I mean it'll work. It's called overvolting. It'll just be really loud and probably break much faster than it should. Ideally, you want a 12 volt fan for a 12 volt system and so on and so forth for a 24 volt system. Right, so this is the older Flexion extruder. It has a really cool brush that like brushes the teeth and keeps them clean. They do wear out pretty quick though. That brush is pretty knackered. So I'm just going to put this one aside, and then we're going to fit our new one. I don't even know if I need to change the top part, because it's the same. Anodization's a little bit darker. Let's go with a new one. Why not? Ron's asking, have you printed nylon, and if so, did you build your own dry box? I had printed nylon. I used to just print it as quickly as possible and then worry about it being wet later. No, I haven't built my own dry box, but I do have the poly box that they sent to me, which is like a desiccant box. But what you can do is just leave it in the filament box and just like tape it all off with desiccant in, except for like a little hole where it comes out. That'll keep it dry for quite a while. Can you put this here? Is the brush to clean the brush? Is there a brush to clean the brush that cleans the gear? Ha! No, there isn't. Oh, jeez, that was loud. Hey, Bloodhorn, thanks so much. Load up the stream, and what's the first thing I hear? Don't be lazy like Angus. That just doesn't describe the moral of... Oh, God, I missed it. Yeah. Don't be lazy like Angus. I am a shocker, I'll be honest. Alrighty. So I'm just going to see if there's any difference, because there's quite a time difference between these two models. The new gears look like the teeth are a little bit smaller. Ah. No hands, thank you so much. Keep up the streams, mate. Will do. I'm having a blast. I don't know. I might just leave the old feeder gear, to be honest. There's no real difference there. So the Flexion has a really weird design, and the whole thing actually tilts to create tension using a cam. So there's no springs involved. It has a cam instead that tensions this against the extruder wheel. So it's a pretty interesting design, I'll be completely honest. So I'm just going to figure out how to put it back on. So it kind of rocks back and forth. I'm trying to log into Streamlabs. My bad. So difficult. I have to click yes, yes. Why not? Do this, do that. Authorize this, authorize that. Just do it. I've already done it before. Please don't burn myself on the extruder head. Don't worry, I'm aware that it's going to be a bit warm for the moment. Yeah, Blood on. Sorry, went back to your comment. If that doesn't describe the moral of 90% of your videos, I don't know what does. I'm just shocking. I just do first and then live with the consequences. It's not the best way to be, I'll be honest. Okay. So we've got our extruder. This is the new Flexion XT, or HT rather, high temperature. Hello. That's new. That's awesome. All right. Thank you, 3D printer noob. Keep up the work, and should I get an Up Mini 2 or the Up Plus 2? I really like the Up Mini 2 for the price. The Up Plus 2, in my opinion, is a bit outdated. It's an open frame. It works really well. It's accurate, but it's an old design. The Up Mini 2 is enclosed, has Wi-Fi. It's a lot better in my opinion. But check this out, guys. It's the block that the extruder sits on, and it's got a heat sink. So you have a heat sink and a heat sink. Is that right? How would this work? So that would sit there, right? But the fan sits there. I'm so confused. I just didn't do any research into this. Because normally the fan just sits there. But it has a heatsink instead. I don't know if I can use this with this printer. No, I can't. No, yeah. No, I can't use this one with this printer because it needs to be screwed in with that screw there. Oh, that sucks. That's beautiful though. They've water jet cut that. That's been water jet cut. Okay, well I'll consider using that later if I can get it to work, but I don't think it will work with this printer. Sadly. Alright. So I'll put that over here for now. Let me have a quick look on their website. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's have a quick look at the Flexion high temperature. This is an upgrade kit for printers. No. It won't work. Yeah, okay. I can't use it sadly. It doesn't show a heat. It doesn't show a fan, and I don't think passively cooling this hot end is a good idea. So we'll reconsider in future, but for now we'll just work on this one. So let's figure this out. I need to get that out, so I need an Allen key. Didn't you know heat sinks multiply? They don't multiply if you can't get them in touching the surface. If I had that other heat sink on, the other one won't make contact with the metal. And it won't work. Okay, that's one screw out. Also, this hot end is just nasty. It's so covered in just charred plastic. So when a mummy heatsink and a daddy heatsink love each other very much. Yeah, they end up with a tiny heatsink on an area where you wouldn't expect it. Okay, let's unplug this thermistor. Alrighty. There we go. So I've got to be really careful because these wires are not, for the hot end, are actually, they're crimped. So they can fatigue if I'm not too careful. So this is the old hot end. It's pretty worn, let's be honest. Okay. So I'll take that out. We need to get our thermistor off. Yes, it has cooled down sufficiently for me to touch it. Don't you worry. I always found this design of thermistor so sketchy. It's a glass bead that you crush into aluminium. And it has Teflon to stop it from shorting. It's so sketch. What about Capricorn PTFE? I did write to them actually, and I thought they were going to send something. But, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. We'll see. Alright, so let's get this heat tube out. It's a pretty nasty heat tube. I wish I actually had another one. But I can't easily swap them. Oh, jeez. Blood-on. The new aluminium block replaces both. Okay, hold on. Okay, so he's saying it replaces both and it doesn't need it. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Let's go for it. Let's go for it then. That sounds cool. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Keeping me from doing stupid things. Okay. So in that case, this will go there. But wait, no. But how does it mount? The screw, it doesn't have the screw holes at the bottom to mount it. I'd have to adapt something, right? Or how? How does this work? I honestly don't understand. Like, I can see how it would mount into place, but I can't see how it goes on there because there's no screws. Oh wait. Oh, then bloody Flexion and Diabas Engineering doing blind tapped holes in a part just to show off. Cool. All right, we're good. I'm sorry. Oh, I look like the biggest idiot sometimes. Okay. So it does actually have the holes just blind tapped and hidden. Okay. Right. Okay, we're making progress slowly. So I need to get this heat tube out. Oh man, that is full of plastic crap. Where's a screwdriver I don't care about? Here we go. Alright. There we go. Alright. That is one munted hot end. That's been through a lot. That has been through so much torture. Let's put that there. Oh, man. Okay, cool. Well, in that case, this should be pretty easy to fix. So we'll get our hot end. They actually sent two, which is cool. I don't know which one to use. So one of them's going to be all metal and one of them's going to be PTFE lined. Should I go with the all metal or not? What do you reckon, guys? All metal or PTFE lined? Tell me in the chat. Don't worry, no one is watching, except all of you. I tack in a little heatsink epoxy, it holds them great. Alright. People are saying all metal. Let's go with all metal then. That way you can print really high temp stuff. Yep, okay. Metal, metal, metal. Alright. All metal. Let's do it. So I really like the fact it clamps it. Doesn't have a grub screw situation. It's really quite nice. Am I sure one's not for 1.75, one's 0.3? Nope, they're both 1.75. Okay, so let me just put on our little cam wheel before we get too carried away. Full metal alchemist. Full metal jacket. Full metal hot end. Okay. Okay, so we've got our extruder. Right, so we need to make sure this is going to be facing the right way. That makes sense. Alright, fitting the thermistor is a bit of a pain, I'll be honest. Is the lag to me seeing chat that bad? Yeah, it's shocking, guys. Sorry. It's really slow. YouTube is what YouTube does. Okay, let's fix this in place. So again, the thermistor's a glass. It's a glass bead. You have to be extremely careful with it. Never over tighten them. And always make sure that they're not shorted. That will probably not need the shim. So let's get rid of the shim. So it's really interesting. There's 6mm heat tubes and there's 1/4 inch heat tubes. And Diabas knows this and they provide a shim if you have the 6mm ones. But we don't need that in this case. Okay, let's tighten it up. Maybe it does need the shim. Maybe it's just so dirty. It does need the shim. Oh no. I didn't use the shim before. Maybe it's just so full of crap. Let's see. I don't know. Did you guys use a shim on your Wanhao? It doesn't look like it needs it. It won't fit. I guess I just need to make sure that screw is really tight. Let's have a look. Okay. I hate doing this bit so much. It's always so sketchy with that nichrome wire. Really? Weird. No matter how much I tighten that, it's not doing anything. Hey Andrew, thanks so much. Watching your videos made me buy a printer. Awesome. Happy printing. Really appreciate it. Why can't I clamp this? What is going on? And I'm moving it around heaps, which I really don't want to do. It's just loose. I'm really not sure why that's not clamping. That is a little bit annoying. Interesting. Doesn't seem like the clamp bit really clamps. I should get myself a screw and stud thermistor. Yeah, you're right actually, I should. That's a good upgrade option. Yeah, the glass bead ones suck. I have no idea why I can't clamp this properly. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't know why. Don't know what's going on there. Maybe the screw is a bit too long. Do have a slightly shorter M3. That's the same length. No, I don't have a slightly shorter M3. This is annoying. It's so fragile. It definitely won't go in with a shim. It will definitely not do that. I don't have any measuring gear down here. It's all upstairs. Crap. Crap, crap, crap. Yeah, I didn't read anyone else's instructions. Let me just find something. Well, I found a screw and a thermistor. That's a good start. So, at least we can do that. I don't have to worry about this stupid glass bead anymore. So we can actually... Oh no, we can't, because it's the wrong size. Really? 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 Why? Oh my god. Alright, well, I guess we do have to use a glass bead, but I can't figure out for the life of me why that's not clamping. And it's tight, but it's not super tight. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to put my screw back in. Like that. And I'm just going to wrench it as hard as I possibly can. It's still so loose. Spoke way too soon, guys. I do not have an M2 tap. It's M2. This is really bad. Really, really freaking annoying. I can't think of a good solution unless I actually get a pair of like, I can't force it in either. This is stuffed. This is stuffed, guys. This is absolutely stuffed. What the heck is going on? This is like China quality where they've got they've clearly made a mistake with the diameter of it. Or I've just had it for so long it's changed. Oh dear. Washer. It's not a bad idea. Let me put a washer on the M3. Good point. So much stuff everywhere. Washers. washers. Alright, let's try some washers, shall we? Yeah, I'm not sure there's going to be a sudden realization with this one. It works or it doesn't. I mean, I don't think there's a way I could be doing it wrong. Yeah, you're right, guys. It needed a washer. So the screw's too long. How about that? Okay, we've fixed it. It just needed a washer. So slight machining tolerance issue there. Just a screw that was a bit too long. Let's pretend the last 10 minutes just didn't happen for everyone's sake. And carry on, shall we? I've put it in the wrong side too. 1 second. Okay. So it's like that. Yeah, it was definitely needed a washer. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, now we'll put our thermistor back in because the screw-in one doesn't work because the hole isn't tapped for it. And I don't have an M2 tap. You see why I chose to do this on a side channel? Can you imagine, stuffing up to this level with like 800 people watching? Well, there's like 200 people watching. Alright, that's good. We figured that out. Then we're going to get a little block that goes on here and sits here. We get our little screws. Yeah, and I don't believe in washers. I just grab Dremel and fix long screws. The issue with that though is you damage the end of the threads. If you cut down screws, you need to put a nut on them so you can unscrew the nut when you're done and reform the threads. Otherwise, you end up with just a mashed screw. It's the issue that I had with this when I cut that. Okay. Can't see anything. I can't see it. Thank you. Un momento, por favor. Oh, go on. Alright, well, I'm just going to take that out a little bit. That'll be fine. I'll just let that sit there while I put this in. How's that? Man, that's fiddly. Oh, jeez. Oh, Brett, thanks so much, man. Greetings, Angus. Learned a lot from your videos too. Has anyone tried printing polymorph? Yeah, I have seen polymorph in filament form. eSun made it. They gave me a sample years ago. It printed it, because it melts with hot water, so it printed at like 80 degrees Celsius. And yeah, I have seen it actually. It's just nowadays you have other materials like the modified PLAs, and they're just a little bit tougher and higher temperature resistance than polymorph. Not that it's really a big deal. Yeah, printed for easy to repair parts. Not a bad idea actually. Yeah, I'm keen to try out some of the new polypropylene filaments. They're supposedly really tough, but also a pain in the ass to print. Oh jeez. Oh, Teresa, thank you so much. Highly entertained by everything out of context. As always, I'm here to entertain. Oh, what? No, go back. For some reason, YouTube logged me out of my chat or something. Whatever. Sorry, guys. Is that still working? Yes, hopefully. All right. Jesus Christ. So let's get this in place. And put it up here. Why? Why is it not lining up? It's just... This was... I would easily spend like a whole day fixing hot ends. Just because it's so insanely fiddly. I was actually hesitant to do it because I thought I knew something would go wrong. Okay, well that's fine, but now I can't access it. Okay, that's right. Plug a thermistor in. I'm gonna be really clever and raise it up so I can access it easier. How about that? How about I should have done that before? So what does Australian $5 get you at the liquor store? Do you realize we have like some of the highest tax liquor in the world? $5 gets you a can of beer. A good can of beer. Or a really cheap bottle of wine. Like... crap, terrible wine. Wouldn't even use it in a pasta sauce. If you're interested, I mean, a bottle of 700 milliliter spirits, about $40 Australian, $30 for some really cheap stuff. Yeah, it's expensive to drink in Australia. That's what surprised me when I went to America. Like, we don't have handles. We don't have that sort of stuff. It just doesn't exist here. Biggest you'll get is 1 liter. Alright. Slowly raising it up. Looks pretty good. Let's stop it there. Die. Ah, missed it. 3D printing llama, thanks for the $2. Screw-in thermistors go in the clamp screw hole, not the old therm hole. No, sadly not. I tried that. This has a thread that's smaller than the screw thread. It's hard to see, but it's a smaller size. So the hole is too small. Too big, rather. There is nowhere on this block I could use to put it into place, unfortunately. I'm not sure what this screw does. I think it just holds the nozzle and hot end assembly in place. What does it do? It does nothing. It's just capping off the other side for the thermistor if you want to use it. And thanks for subscribing, lads. Alright. So we've got this up, we can access it easier. We can do the screws up now, easier. Of course, everything's easy with instructions, but I don't do instructions on Maker's Muse, as you all know. Okay, that's our block in place. I won't tighten it fully yet because I need to align things, but with our motor, because the thermistor's in the way again. So let's get rid of that. Oh, jeez. TJ Finney, thanks so much. Hey, love your videos and streams. Keep up the awesome work. Also, check under the heater block insulation. There's another hole. Really? Hey, there is. All right. You guys know what you're talking about. In that case, let's just do this. This is like a collective consciousness printer. All right. Let's try this one last time. It's going to be the last time I change things. Promise. Promise. Okay, let's have a look. So you're saying it's underneath there. Hey, there is. You are a champion. That's awesome. They thought of everything. There you go. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I gotta say, the Diabas guys are pretty schmick. Oh, the print finished. They're pretty schmick with their engineering. Absolutely. Sweet. Okay, well, that is far better than the other solution. We have wrestled with this far too long. Hive mind. We could build a 3D printer with like the hive mind mentality. That would be pretty cool. I wonder what it would create. I wonder if it'd be a delta or a Cartesian. I wonder if it'd be 1.75 or 3. I don't know. I have no idea what would happen at all. The Fusion 360 update's really bad. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Mine's just been completely buggy lately since the last update. I had to rebuild sketches completely because even though I changed them, they weren't updating. And I have no idea what was going on there. I just wish they'd just leave it for a bit, but they keep wanting to update it. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, you guys are killing it. Why can't I get this in place? You have to come around the other side. 1 second. Interesting. I'm not sure if it clears the lip on the stepper. Should do. These will be too long, but I'll just test it quickly. Just clears it. Okay, fine. The stepper motors have a lip on them. Oh, Villain, thanks so much. Here's some $5 for lunch. I'm starving. And Edsel, Jesus. Please get 2 China calipers to measure accurately upstairs and down. Okay, I'll go get a second pair and bring them downstairs. Thank you. Oh, jeez. And Zemstar, thank you so much. Thank you for your work. I appreciate it. I'm just kind of out of it right now, to be completely honest. Right, we'll need some screws that go into the block just enough. Yeah, it looks perfect. So I'm going to give it a shot without the fan attached, because why not? Like that. Missed. Oh, it's so bad. I was doing an ABS print on the Cocoon Create Plus, which is over in the corner. It just finished. I can hear the ABS cracking. I can hear it delaminating. I don't know why people bother printing ABS on exposed frame machines. Why? Why bother? I'm only doing it for science. Crack, crack, crack. Okay, so we've got this. Now the thermistor has to somehow reach. Let's try it. Try to get it in. Okay, gotta get round to that screw. Get the wires in place. Oh, that is so not going to reach. Who designed this? Who designed this? Well, the Wanhao thermistor wire is that long, and the thermistor wire is that long. Like, you can see the issue here. I don't think I can get any extra room out of it either. If I just pull on it, it's not the greatest idea. Nope. It's literally, oh, it's like 1 centimeter off. Great. Brilliant. Yeah, let's find out what the print looks like. I'm going to grab it for you. I bet it looks terrible. Yeah, called it. There you go. That's what happens when you print ABS with a high infill on an open frame i3. This was with like a foam enclosure too. It's still cracking. It's just crap. You need a fully heated enclosure. That's the only way you can do it. All right. Right, guys. So here's the state of play. This wire is too short. It was always barely long enough for the normal thermistor. It's still cracking. It's always barely long enough for the normal thermistor. But this time it's just way too short. And I can't really see any easy way to get it to fit unless I put it on the other side, which I will try now. If it doesn't fit by putting it on the other side, I might have to call it and extend wires, which will take a very long time. So let's just give that a shot. So we'll just swap it around to the other side and see if we can get it to reach. I've been playing with these heater wires way too much. I really don't like to move them so much. Alright, I just have to undo it again. Trial and error. Okay. Ben, I only print ABS with unenclosed ANET A8. Were you printing it like 40% infill? Because that's what I was printing at. Because I need high strength. That's probably why. The more infill you put in, the more plastic there is to shrink, the more likely it will delaminate. Okay, well let's see if this actually reaches. So, this is in here. This is here. Will that actually reach? Oh, just reaches, alright. Just reaches. Just. I often wonder if they make the wires so short for like, you know, aesthetic reasons to make it, or functional reasons to make sure there's no slack, or it's literally just cost. Like, how short can we possibly make this wire so that we don't waste 2 cents per 10 printers? That is just barely long enough. And it wouldn't work if the fan was there, because the fan would get in the way. This is crap. Not the Flexion, the Wanhao. Okay, so I can't quite see if I've lined the PTFE up properly. I'm just going to have a look on the other side. So that's very important. I think we're done here. I think that will work. Let's fire it up and see if it extrudes. Oh my god. So this is the Flexion high temperature hot end. It's basically a work of art. It's really nice. And we're going to see if it works. So, have some breakfast first. Oh dear. Yeah, so I had the printer covered with foam tiles, like the same foam tiles I got at the desk here. I built them around the printer, didn't make a difference. The issue with printing in ABS is your bed's hot, but the rest of the chamber, or above the bed, isn't. And it's the temperature differential that causes warping. So you ideally need an evenly heated chamber without extra heat on the bed. Like, you want a 90-degree chamber just in general. So that's really the only way to do it, which is why I really like the Up Mini 2. The Cubicon single, the whole chamber heated. It didn't have any warping issues. Okay, let's see if this works. Preheat. Okay, so it is measuring the temperature, 35 degrees, 37, 38, it's warming up, perfect. "911 on speed dial." You know, they actually have to have 911 redirect in Australia because our emergency number is 000. It's actually pretty simple to remember, but because of so many American movies and series that air here, they have to redirect 911 because people in Australia just dial it. Even though it's 000. 000 is our emergency contact line. But, people just dial 911. Fire extinguisher, there's one in the corner, actually. Mum made me bring it back from my workshop, back from her old place. I actually do have a fire extinguisher if something goes wrong. Okay. So we are warming up. Where's that PLA? Where is it? There it is. That's off gassing, which is not great. Why is it doing that? What's going on? Why? Why is it smoking? That is legit not great. What the hell is going on? The thermistor's working. It's reading the temperature. What the fuck? Is it the silicon? What the hell's going on? It's at 215 degrees. That's not that ridiculous, but look, it's smoking. I can't smell anything. There's oil. It could be oil. It could be oil, guys. It might be machining oil. Let's hope it's machining oil. God damn it. That is not what you want to see. Oh my god, I wonder if it's this thermistor. I wonder if it's got... Oh, no way. If that's the case, that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Hold on. No, it's okay. Okay. I thought for a second that the thermistor wires were melting, which means I was like, maybe they're not high temperature wires. It's definitely smoking. You can see that, right? It's fucking smoking. But I can't smell anything. I already said, Marky, the hot end is the Flexion HT. Right, let's just run tons of PLA through it and see what happens. We don't have a cooling fan mounted on it yet because we've got that little passive fan, but I will mount it, but I don't think the smoke's coming from that. I need to adjust the cam. light, line it up. And now I've got it going the wrong way. Okay, well, I'm gonna just power it down for now. Right. So, I'm going to open the garage door just in case that wasn't very good smoke. Yeah. That seems to work, but I'll probably have to print an adapter for this cooling fan because, as you guys would have seen, can't mount the original heatsink doesn't mount straight onto it, so this needs to be offset by a little bit with some spaces, and then we can start running it. Now, I don't know what was going on there. I'll be completely honest. I can't see anything visually burnt or melting, but it doesn't smell great. It really doesn't smell like oil. I'm worried if it's the PTFE or something weird like that. So I'll do some diagnosis. It was really hard to see where the smoke was coming from. It was doing it before I put PLA in, which is not great. How many watts do you vape at? No. So it's not like a regular burn-in with a hot end. That was a bit more smoke than I expected. But I'm probably going to leave it here, guys, because I need to go eat something. It's been 2 hours, and I'm sorry this took so long. It shouldn't have taken that long. The original Flexion install was really quick. But I think with this one... Actually, I did it live as well. But I think with this one, they've just changed a few things, and it was a bit more involved than I expected. But we did manage to put a new heat bed, print surface bed on. So we've got the new compressed fiberboard here. Which should work well. I will get a fan mounted on this and do some print tests and let you guys know. 3D gust note, I will also check the thermistor resistance. It may well be wrong. If it's the wrong resistance compared to the other one, then it would be aiming for the wrong temperature, which might be why it was smoking. But it was designed for an i3, so actually a Wanhao i3. So I don't know what could be the main reason for that. So I'm going to leave it here, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for supporting the channel as well. Just a side note, it's been really challenging over the last 2 weeks or so, getting everything up and running, and I will be very disrupted in March. So I have lots of content planned, but I don't know how regular these streams can be for the next few weeks. I'll try to keep... I want to do one on Saturday, like our regular Makers Muse news stream, but I don't know what's going to happen there. So just keep in the loop. By all means, if you have any questions, send them through. I'll try to get to them for you. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it. So have a fantastic day or evening or night, whatever. I look forward to seeing you again very shortly here on Maker's Muse. I'm gonna go eat something. Catch you later, guys. Bye. Oh dear.